two more questions. Casey Thompson, what do you think of him? I know I heard what you thought a little bit, but I saw a couple throws in there that were like not like, I get excited, but they're okay throws. I saw like 2 or 3 NFL throws, and I got me really excited for next year.
He made one throw, and this is the thing about athletic skill is that, I heard a number of people commenting late last night and today whether Ohio State had it in them to beat Alabama. Well, yes, we just watched it last night. Now, whether they duplicate that performance, I don't know. But when you see athletic talent on display, that means that person can, I could throw a football 1,000 times and I could never duplicate some of those throws because I just don't have the ability. So he may not have the consistent ability to do that or the consistency. He's not Tom Brady to do that, but he showed there was that one throw that he made that I thought, I don't see that throw being made that often in college football, where he sidestepped the defender in the pocket and he threw that ball with perfect trajectory over one defender to the one side of the other defender. It was just perfectly placed at a crazy angle to the right sideline that I just thought that's one of the better throws I've seen this year.
Yeah, I know what throw you're talking about. Yeah, when they showed it from the angle where he was, like, showed his POV, I was surprised he could make that throw.
Yeah. I was impressed with him. And that wasn't the only one. He made, what he hit, like 8 out of 10. And I thought that
many 160 yards.
Yeah, many of them were not. He wasn't dumping it off. He threw 4 or 5 passes that were difficult passes to throw. Oh, and he hit a couple slants that were beautiful. The guys weren't wide open. They had a defender on him, and he put the ball where he needed to.
Yeah, it surprised me because I watched. He played a little bit in UTEP, and they threw it not as much as they did versus Colorado enough, and I wasn't impressed by him. So I don't know if he got a lot better. He just felt more comfortable at that point. But it'll be interesting to see. I think he'll win the job because their backup quarterback was a true freshman this year. He's really athletic, but I don't think he has everything that he needs to in his toolbox to be able to start first yet. But the next question is, do you think Urban Meyer would be successful in the NFL? And if he wasn't successful, what would be the reason why?
We talked about this the other day on my Ohio State show, and we've talked about it before. College coaches have done a much better job, I would say, in the last 15 to 20 years in making that transition than they did when I first watched football. There was a litany of college coaches that couldn't make the transition, starting with Lou Holtz, to the NFL and failed miserably. I think the reason they're able to adapt better now is that the games aren't so different as they used to be. They used to just be markedly different. Watching a college game on Saturday in 1982 versus watching the NFL the next day were 2 different sports to a certain extent. But here, if anything, the NFL is copying college football. So from that standpoint, it seems to be the influx of coaches going back and forth just seems to be not a big deal. But in terms of his temperament, I don't know. This is an interesting argument because on one hand, you could say, well, this guy could barely stand to lose 1 game. He lost 9 games in 7 years at Ohio State, and it about killed the guy. So how in the world is he going to go? Even if he's got a good team, he's going to go 11-5. He's going to suffer 5 losses in a season. My goodness, he can't operate the same way. His body's and his mind and his psyche has gotten used to winning 90+% of his games. I don't know if he can handle that, or if he's going to be able to adjust to, okay, success means something different than it does in college. You don't have to go 12-1 to be successful here, and that he could adjust to that. In terms of leading men, I think Urban Meyer is a very thoughtful individual in regards to, he's a psychology major in college, and that's where he really founded his coaching philosophies, is in understanding what motivates people and how to inspire them and motivate them and set goals and do all those things. He's very much into all of that. And so I think that translates. I think that, again, there's not the, what word am I looking for? There's not the black mark or the stigma against a college coach that there would have been years and years ago, that he wouldn't have respect in the locker room. I think if anything, he might get a lot of respect, because he wouldn't just be many of these coaches that get that hired at the NFL level, these players don't know who they are, because they were like some coordinator with the San Diego Chargers, and before that they were with the Atlanta Falcons, and they're like, they don't know who these guys are, and they're like, oh, suddenly he's our head coach. What has he done? Versus they're all going to know who Urban Meyer is and what he's accomplished. So he might be able to gain some instant credibility. So I think he could make, if I'm taking a shot at it, could make the transition if his approach mentally, emotionally, and therefore physically would be what it needs to be.